relevant, I'll write it out for us on the pad so we can keep track of it all. Once we have enough to figure out the code, we can fix this damn machine and get out of this mess. I can get us started because I happen to hear about the unfortunate passing of his father from a severe sawdust allergy, apparently, when he got home from the circus. So we'll put that down now. Right, so remember, we're looking for the information to solve the combination lock. Magnus will hopefully reveal different pieces of the information based on who you've chosen to bring on the show via the Rolodex. You'll ring the bell anytime you hear anything relevant, and I'll note it down. And you can start and stop the loops at any time by pressing the big red button on the relay machine. Let's get started. I can't deny he ups the ratings when he's on, but for a man whose brand is being right, he's got a very poor success rate.
I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one's turned up, followed by the worrying number of lumps under my left arm, the date my childhood sweetheart married my best friend, the age my cat was when I ran him over, the number of conversations I've had with my father, and the exact time...
Not easy working for big science, is it?
No, it's me. I'm afraid I have trouble remembering impossibly convoluted things.
Like science, eh?
No.
I'm sorry. Who are you?
Dr. Magnus, this is Alan James. If you could both take a seat, please. The host will be with you shortly.
Not you.
Sorry, Dr. Magnus.
Big science, mate.
Oh, God, not in this time.
Not who? Oh, God.
Look, I'm not happy about it either.
Jeremy Dawson.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, I got it first. Mr. James.
Nice to be back.
Don't think so.
Sorry, I'm late. Poisoned smoothie. Dr. Magnus.
Not likely, Alex.
Both of you
Why?
this time, eh?
Nope.
I hope you come ready.
Disagree.
10 seconds.
You do know this isn't the news, don't you? Has anyone told Mr. James it's...
5,
for a night of
4,
smiles with
3.
Jeremy Dawson, Megan Wolfe, and a very special guest.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Dawson.
And I'm Megan Wolfe. It's the 30th of March 1985, and this is a Channel 1 special event hosted by your national nightly news team.
In a laboratory, nestled in the sleepy hills of Chantlebury, Dr. Charles Magnus,
Third one.
optimistically named Happiness Collective, have been working on a secret project.
Absolutely nothing suspicious about that.
They claim their Euphoria device will raise overall
think
happiness
so.
levels throughout the country. Tonight, live
likely,
on
Alex.
Channel 1, we'll be putting that claim to the test.
Without your consent.
We'll be in and out the schedule throughout the evening, with our very loud special guest to report live on whether the device has put a smile to your faces.
Or locked it into a rictus grin.
It's popular commentator, conspiracist, and entertainer, Alan James.
So don't move that dial. Stick with Channel 1 all evening as we bring you The Night of Smiles.
We probably don't need to watch these, Alex. Let's get back to the studio here, Alex. We don't want to miss anything important.
So not really a scientist.
Well, he ran a garage. Did mainly tyres and exhausts.
More of a mechanic.
Agreed.
Well,
My God, that sounds awful. Do you really have to listen to that every day, Alex? Let's just turn off the audience monitoring for now. We don't want to have that going off every time.
Thing and killed him. Dad was devastated. Had to read all the signage.
Disagree.
Hard to say. I've got more PhDs than I've had conversations with him.
Me too.
10 seconds.
You have PhD?
No, a shitty dad.
Going in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back. In just a few minutes, the impressive machine behind me will be activated in the first ever mass test of its type. So let's meet the man behind the merriment,
Don't think
Dr.
so.
Charles Magnus.
Not likely, Alex.
Inexplicably sat next to him is controversial speaker and columnist, and I believe now a best-selling author, Alan James.
Sales have been great, Jeremy. I'm as surprised as you are.
Probably a mix-up with the counting.
And yes, a sequel is on the way. In fact, I have the first proof copy right here. Okay, there seems to have been some sort of mix-up with the measurements. Yeah, that's hard to read, that.
Well, let's turn to the man of the moment, shall we? Dr. Charles Magnus.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I'm lucky enough to work with an amazing team.
In a secret lab somewhere deep underground?
No, in Chintlebury, near the supermarket.
Where does your funding come from, so-called Dr. Magnus?
A valid question.
Well, prior to last year, we relied mainly on charitable donations, but since Advance came to power, we...
Or as I call them in my new book,
James is right here.
the corrupteers. Like corrupt puppeteers. See?
Well, pretty much disregarding all of that, the Assets and Wealth Science Program gave us the means to get to tonight in a fraction of the time it would have taken otherwise.
And what did you have to do in return for all that lovely funding?
I beg your pardon?
I have been doing my own research, so-called Dr. Magnus, and this experiment is dangerous.
All science involves risk.
You're messing with the structure of reality.
Hardly.
I've been doing my own research and...
We are at the forefront of a new technology. This is how breakthroughs happen. This is how science works.
Well, what if what you call science is all a big lie? What if there's something more? Something bigger than science?
You can't get bigger or smaller than science, Mr. James.
Not likely, Alex.
Science isn't a thing.
Why?
It has no mass. It is simply a set of tools to understand everything.
What is the real purpose of your happiness device?
To make people happier.
And what if we don't want to be happier? What if we want to spread our misery to others?
Well, how is that different than what I'm doing?
Mass tests.
Don't help him.
You're running mass tests of an experiment that could literally alter us all. We didn't sign up for this. It shouldn't be allowed to happen. It's way too reckless.
Well, look, there's less than a minute now to go. So while we go and get set up with Chester and yourself, Doctor, over at the Euphoria device, we can go live now to the new Advance HQ for a special message from the Prime Ministers, Peter Clement and Julia Salisbury.
The corrupt masters.
Yeah, we're off air, Alan. It's just noise.
Oh,
Okay, so that's about a minute back. If we could get you all over to the device now, please.
I hope you didn't mind me calling you so-called Dr. Magnus back there.
Well, I did rather. I do have 3 PhDs.
3?
Oh, hello.
That sounds like a lot. Is it a lot? What actually are they, anyway?
They mean I do my own research.
Like me, you mean?
Hello again. Chester Mims, 24. My favourite foods are mashed potato, glacé cherries, and cat treats.
Nonsense.
Alan James. I think for me it's probably trifle,
10
think so.
seconds.
aubergines, and bone marrow.
We're friends now.
Right you are.
Going in 5, 4, 3.
Fantastic, the Prime Minister's there, and of course, without the Assets and Wealth funding...
We wouldn't be about to break the space-time continuum.
Honestly, how would we know? It's been broken for me for years.
I think we can get a counter on the screen. There, and we're going in 10, 9, 8, 7, come on, Jeremy.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Not sure we managed to get all the clues there, Winston. The scariest thing to come out of a kitchen since Mother Bozeman's infamous chili sorbet. They're harsh, but undeniably talented, Winston. Mark my words, Wrigley will be on our screens for years to come.
I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one's turned up, followed by the worrying number of lumps under my left arm, the date my childhood sweetheart married my best friend, the age my cat was when I ran him over, the number of conversations I've had with my father, and the exact time my mother walked out. I honestly don't see why that's so hard for you to remember.
If you could just sit here, please, Dr. Magnus. The hosts and the other guests will be with you shortly.
Thank you. Not you.
Sorry, Dr. Magnus.
What other guest is this?
Oh, it's just a celebrity chef we have here on Channel 1. Bozeman thought it would add a bit of spice. Leave that alone, please, Colin.
Oh, yeah. I thought so.
What?
I don't like coriander, it tastes like soap. What doesn't Colin like?
Soap, apparently.
Tell me something I don't know.
Jeremy, Dr. Charles Magnus.
So they've got a doctor and a chef on. All you know is a priest, we've got the beginnings of a terrible joke. Jeremy Dawson, professional cynic.
All the best minds are.
Don't mind him. He's just jealous that his career doesn't come with a title.
Chef is hardly a title.
Sorry, I'm late. Problematic paella. This must be Professor Magnus.
Dr. Magnus, apparently.
Oh, either is fine.
10 seconds, everybody.
Always a good sign.
I beg your pardon.
5, 4, 3.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Dawson.
And I'm Megan Wolfe. It's the 13th of March, 1985, and this is a Channel 1 special event hosted by your national nightly news team.
In a laboratory nestled in the sleepy hills of Chittlebury, Dr. Charles Magnus and his optimistically named Happiness Collective have been working on a secret project.
He claims his Euphoria device will raise overall happiness levels throughout the country. And taking him to task tonight will be Channel 1's very own Jordan Rankley.
That's right, Megan. Dr. Magnus may be one of the most distinguished members of his field, such as it is, but we'll still how he handles the searing critique of the best chef in the business.
Winner of 3 golden mustard ladles and 4 filleted flank awards, Jordan is widely considered the sharpest tongue in television. Chef Rankley has inspired tears from actors, politicians and even florists, though maybe it's just their liberal use of onions.
So with all that coming up, don't touch that dial. Stick with Channel 1 all evening as we bring you
The Night of Smiles.
45 seconds back.
Who wrote that onion joke?
Bozeman.
And it was a classic.
What a...
When we come back, Doctor, we're going to be asking you a few questions.
Could you tell me a bit more about this catering person?
Don't worry, they're here to utter profanities, not provide actual opinions.
We probably don't need to watch these, Alex.
Dr. Charles Magnus, Jordan Rankley. Jordan, Dr. Magnus.
Nice to meet you. Quick question, Doctor. Are your parents married?
What?
Quickly, we're going live any second.
Well, actually, my mother left when I...
Yes, great. Thank
10
you.
seconds.
Why did you want to know that?
The grating cuts deeper when there's a grain of truth.
Lovely. 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back. In just a few minutes, the impressive machine behind me will be activated in the first ever mass test of its type. So let's meet the man behind the merriment, Dr. Charles Magnus.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. And of course, next to you is the one and only Jordan Rankley.
Hello. I've seen better openers on a tin of fucking beef hash.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, a sorry fucking excuse for a doctor.
Dr. Magnus, do tell us how your Euphoria device works.
Oh, well, that's simple. I just get my assistant Chester to press the big red button.
You let the sous chef serve the main course. I'd rather French kiss a fisherman's armpits.
Right, yes. Well, more specifically, Dr. Magnus, how exactly is it supposed to make people happier?
Well, some of that information is proprietary, but I could try and outline the basics.
We're running out of time now, Doc, so let's not try to overcook the explanation.
Well, to put it simply, everything is vibration. Everything is vibrating. A particle is also a wave, and a wave is, if you like, a note. And we all vibrate at different notes depending on our mood.
Seriously? You're going for a musical fucking analogy? Fuck off! Do I look like a fucking trombone to you? I'm a chef. Let's keep the metaphors fucking food-based. You blancmange.
Yes, of course. In cooking, we experience flavour through the taste, but also through smell. The olfactory and gustatory components have to work together. They are tasted in harmony. Are you following me?
Well, yes, I think so. Hopefully some of our more culinary-minded viewers
What
are.
the fuck are you on about, mate? You're making about as much sense as a drunk toddler in a washing machine. You know what? Check the time right now, and I can guarantee your mother has never been more disappointed with you than she is right this second.
Actually, I know for a fact that that isn't true. She made a point of leaving Father and I at the exact time I was born. On my birthday. So that she could write off the whole decade of disappointment as my fault. It was very upsetting. Still, I have to admire her need for accurate timekeeping.
Shitty girl. You've managed to make it pathetic sad rather than pathetic funny. You're unbelievable.
Look, getting back onto track, the machine, it plays a note. It releases a smell that represents happiness, and all the people and all the animals resonate with that smell and feel happier, noticeably, measurably. At least that's the hope. Right now, I'd give anything to feel a bit happier.
So, what you're saying is that for unprecedented public funding running into the tens of millions, you've built a crockpot that farts out a spag bowl of emotions.
Well,
Do you know what? We're out of time, actually, Doctor. There's less than a minute to go now, so we will get set up with Chester and our guests over at the Euphoria device. But in the meantime, we will go live to New Advance HQ for a special message from the Prime Ministers Peter Clement and Julia Salisbury.
OK, so that's about a minute. If we could get you all over to the device now, please.
No hard feelings, eh, Doc? It's just for the cameras, it's nothing personal.
yes, right. Television is more complicated than quantum mechanics, so it would seem.
You'll get used to it with time.
Hopefully not.
Come on, everyone, let's get to our places.
Yes, you wouldn't want to be in the wrong place with the big button push. Whatever would we do? Might throw off all the science.
Hush, it might work. Lovely, looking great. OK, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3.
Fantastic, the Prime Minister's there, and of course, without the assets and wealth funding you received.
We'd still be making prototypes out of bread sticks. Bread.
You must be Chester.
Come on, let's get on with it. Are we pressing the button or we tongue-fucking each other? Shit! Enough with the foreplay!
Well, I suppose we may as well see if this ridiculous contraption actually works. Shall we?
Yes, I suppose.
Fucking do it!
I just need a few seconds to set up and we'll be good to go.
You know what? Come here. Come here. Yeah. Come here.
Come in.
We're going. Oh, fuck off! Just fuck right off! The whole fucking process.
I think we got everything we need from that sequence. Capital. I can see where you're coming from, but the machine says it's not right. We must be missing some information. That man could sell anything. I still have my inflatable fireplace to this day. man that supposedly has a business empire to run, he was surprisingly available at short notice. He's very spontaneous, Alex, so hopefully he takes us in a helpful direction.
I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one's turned up, followed by the worrying number of lumps under my left arm.
I'm here, yes indeed. It's Crazy Neil here with the scientific deal of the year. Yeah!
Ah, Mr. Neil, so glad you could join us. If you could please sit with Dr. Magnus on the sofa, the host will be with you shortly.
I'll just leave this device here next to this other one, shall I?
Sure, whatever works for you. Sorry, Mr. Mims, but it's going to be a bit of a squash to get you on the sofa
Oh,
now.
that's fine. We don't need him until the experiment starts. But this device...
Leave that alone, please, Colin.
What's this one do?
God knows, it just showed up.
Fascinating.
What's fascinating?
My inability to express my true feelings, if my mother's to be believed.
What's fascinating is how we can offer such quality products at such low prices. Good to see you again, Mr. Donaldson.
Thank goodness we have two equally qualified guests, Mr. Neil.
Call me Crazy Neil.
Let's say no for now.
This is Dr. Charles Magnus.
Another equally skilled salesperson, if the reports on your funding levels are to be believed. Jeremy Donaldson, professional cynic.
Charles Magnus, impervious to skepticism.
There's no need for skepticism, Jeremy, just the ability to spot a great deal.
Right, of course.
Sorry, I'm late. Flard exploded. Professor Magnus.
Dr. Magnus, apparently.
Either is fine.
And Mr. Neil.
Crazy Neil! When you live the crazy like I do, it's not just a brand, it's a lifestyle. Yeah!
Of course it is. Amazing.
10 seconds, everybody.
This should be fun.
Try not to buy anything.
Going in 5, 4, 3.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
And I'm Megan Wolfe. It's the 13th of March 1985, and this is a Channel 1 special event hosted by your national nightly news team and special guests.
That's right. We're joined tonight by a world-renowned scientist and a salesman.
That should say captain of industry.
It does. I amended it on the fly.
The first, fresh from his laboratory in Chintlebury, is Dr. Charles Magnus, head of the Happiness Collective, who claims his Euphoria device will raise overall happiness levels throughout the country.
And our other guest is a man who wears the title of Crazy with Pride and once tried to sell me a self-freezing toaster. I'm still not sure why I would want one, but anyway, it's Crazy Neil.
Yes, indeed. I'm bringing the appliance of science at an unbelievable price.
So don't go away. Stick with Channel 1 all evening as we bring you
The Night of Smiles.
And a minute back.
We normally like to introduce our guests before they speak, Mr. Neil.
There will be plenty of time to talk when we come back from the titles.
Yeah, speaking of that, when will I get a chance to introduce my device so our viewers can compare the two?
Sorry, his device? What's this now?
Salesperson. Sorry, Dr. Magnus, did Mr. Bozeman not explain to you that when he invited Mr. Neil...
Crazy Neil.
Sorry, yes. When Mr. Crazy Neil was invited to come onto the show, he brought his own device as an alternative.
You can't be serious. I mean, this is preposterous. I've spent years researching and planning for tonight. Countless hours given up, opportunities ignored, friends lost, lumps that probably should have been checked. And this senseless charlatan is attempting to plagiarize my entire life's work.
You will have
likely, Alex.
time to make your case, Dr. Magnus.
Back in 10.
It's just...
Disagree.
I can't believe it.
Nonsense.
5,
Don't think so.
4, 3.
Welcome back. In just a few minutes, one of the impressive machines behind me will be activated in the first ever mass experiment of its type. But first, let's meet the men behind these multiple merriment machines, Dr. Charles Magnus and Crazy Neil.
Hello, hey, hola, buongiorno. Hi there, Crazy Neil with the best happiness device around. And it's an unreal steal of a deal.
Hello.
Thank you both for joining us. Mr. Neil, let's start with you.
Crazy. When you live the crazy like I do, Mr. Donaldson, it's a lifestyle, not a brand.
Of course. Mr. Neil, you've come here today with, what did you call it again?
Crazy Neil's joyous jubilation contraption. You won't find better out there. No, sir.
What exactly does it do?
Well, you see, you press this button and your greatest dreams, your ultimate happiness, your true bliss, they all come true.
Wow, that's quite the device there. And you say you made it last night?
Yes, ma'am. I saw the show being advertised and I said I wasn't going to be outdone by no buffing in a lab coat. No offence, brainbox. So I got together with the current Mrs. Crazy Neil, ex-Mrs. Neil's 1 through 3, 5 and 6.
Wow, that's quite the team. And they all happily work together with you?
Well, other than number 4, we're all on speaking terms. Number 5 is the director of a national space program.
So, do tell us, how does it actually work?
Yes, I'd be very curious to know.
I can't give that away, I'm afraid. Otherwise, we'll have knockoff Crazy Neils springing up everywhere.
How very convenient.
Agreed. So let's turn to you, Dr. Magnus. What's the name of your device?
Okay, so it's my turn, is it? About time. I'll have another lump after this, no wonder. They're brought on by unnecessary stress. So, the Happiness Collective is a team of highly qualified professional scientists and engineers from a multitude of institutions and disciplines, and we have curated the Euphoria device, a real scientific breakthrough that will revolutionize contentment in this nation and eventually the wider world.
Well, an equally ambitious claim there. How long did it take your exceptional team to get this all started?
Years, obviously. In the world of actual science, proper processes need to be followed to ensure safety. Standards need to be adhered to at each iteration and...
Absolutely, whereas you did yours last night.
And this is why business is always giving science a wedgie. We give the people what they need, when they need it. And that's a Crazy Neil guarantee.
How does your device work, Doctor?
Well, obviously some of that information is proprietary.
See? Convenient.
I'll try and explain the basics as simply as possible.
As simple as getting a crazy deal?
Everything is vibration. Everything is vibrating. A particle is also a wave.
But you can wave goodbye to expensive flights with Crazy Neil's bathroom, surfer, ocean wave machine. When the beach comes to you, may cause electrocution.
A wave is, if you like, a note, and we all vibrate at different notes depending on our mood. Happier people vibrate at a higher frequency than sad people, for example.
I know my wife is always happier when she's vibrating, if you know what I mean.
I mean, I give up.
I understand, Dr. Magnus. Thank you. Megan?
Yes. Well, there is only a minute or two to go now. So while we go and get set up with the devices, let's go and head on live to the new Advance HQ for a special message from the Prime Ministers, Peter Clement and Julia Salisbury.
Okay, we've got about a minute. Lovely stuff. If we could get you all over to the devices now, please.
So who won?
Sorry?
Well, you're going to start up my device, or Brainbox is here.
I think, Mr. Neil, while it's been very entertaining having you on the show, we're probably going to go with Dr. Magnus's device.
Some sanity at last. Chester.
Yes, Dr. Magnus.
It looks like Nickel and Copper might have brought a little friend. Let's get another dermatologist appointment for next week, shall we?
Okie dokie, I'll make a note. So it's invite Zinc along to the party.
Please don't make light of my...
At the Happiness Collective.
Just book the fucking appointment.
What's he charging you for this bucket of bolts?
10
Whatever
seconds.
it is, I'll half the cost.
You fundamentally misunderstood this. 5 seconds to push the right button. 3, 2...
Fantastic. The Prime Minister's there.
Who are, of course, responsible in so many ways for what we're witnessing tonight.
So who's going to get that bucket?
Well, I'm personally obviously sure that they'd both prove equal value to society.
I tell
but
you
I
what,
think we're probably...
I'll give you your first press for free.
Nonsense.
No!
Oh, well, that ain't right. Huh?
Please, Mr. Neil, much better to leave these things to the professionals.